Keith Myers here. I'm going to make a video about using a knife for self-defense. Okay, so right off the bat, this is for self-defense, which is different than knife fighting. Okay, so again, the distinction: a knife for self-defense. If you think about, we're not going to talk about defending empty hand against the knife. That's a whole different topic. That's very difficult to do. Your chances defending against the knife empty hand are not great. And so at least having your own knife, a tactical folder or something in your pocket, if you have to, increases your chances considerably if somebody's attacking you with a knife. Okay? So a lot of areas it's hard to carry a concealed handgun, but you can carry a tactical folder in your pocket, right? And this can be just as good in a lot of circumstances if somebody's in close. Okay? So again, self-defense with a knife is different than knife fighting. And if you do find yourself in a situation where you're defending empty-hand against the knife, if you've worked with a knife and you know kind of what to expect and kind of how a knife moves and all, and you have a new respect for that knife, that can help with your empty-hand defenses, at least give you some insight. So that's what we're talking about here. So when we're talking about self-defense with a knife, we're talking about from further out. He's got a sharp weapon. I'm going to stay as far away from him as possible. So this is different than some of the Filipino martial arts systems, which train at this middle range, more of a knife fighting approach. And so they're doing all kinds of elaborate drills and tapping drills and passing and cutting and all this stuff in at this range. This is not where you want to be with sharp weapons. I don't want to be at this exchange range where I can cut him and he can cut me. That's suicide. There's a saying in the Filipino martial arts that if you're in a knife fight, you only have a 1 in 3 chance of survival. If the guy's better than you, you die. If you're equally skilled, you're both going to die. If you're better than him, you might live. That's pretty gruesome, right? So that's why a little bit of training when you're using a knife for self-defense can go a long way. Okay? Now, the first question that comes to mind, well, do I hold my knife like this or like this? A forward grip or a reverse grip? When we're talking about a shorter knife, like a tactical folder up to like a small hunting knife or utility knife, really doesn't matter as far as range goes which way you hold it. If I'm holding it this way, I don't sacrifice that much range by doing it this way. If I've got a blade that's over 6 inches, however, it doesn't make sense to flip that blade into reverse grip and lose that reach advantage. So if I'm in my kitchen and I grab a kitchen knife from the drawer to defend myself against an intruder, a knife this big, doesn't make sense to flip it around in reverse grip, because then I lose all of that reach advantage that the length of that blade gives me. Okay? But for something range of tactical folder, it's probably not as big an element, right? Whether you have it forward or reverse grip. However, reverse grip becomes more difficult to use because now the blade is not out in front of me and I'm using hooking motion, which if you've got a Wing Chun background might come in, pretty instinctively, but still the safest bet is a forward grip so I can stay as far away from this guy as possible. So again, we're not in that middle range exchanging. I'm on this outside range. So at this range then, my main defense is my footwork, right? Staying away from the guy. My footwork, my primary defense. So if you're a martial artist and you've got some background in boxing or moving around, fencing, Wing Chun, using that footwork is key. Because the best way to use a knife for self-defense is to snipe at the guy's arm. Stay away from him, he's trying to attack you, you reach out and touch him, right? That quick snap like that is going to leave a big gouge in the guy's arm or hand. I mean, that might be enough to take off 2 or 3 fingers. Right? And so this is what we call a snap cut. And the snap cut is like I'm holding this. Here, it's easier to show the concept with a big knife. The snap cut is I'm not doing this hard cut. I'm going forward like I'm doing a punch, and then I'm letting the tip snap out and hit like that. That's a snap cut. I'm snapping it forward, pop, pop, almost like popping a towel in the gym class, right? A wet towel in gym class, pop. So I'm doing it here, boom, So that just is a fast reach up and just a whack. That's a snap cut. It's loose in my hand, it's snapping and coming back, so it's hitting with this portion of the blade, okay? And that is an acceptable Bowie knife technique, the snap cut. Pow! Now I don't have that big weight transition with the tactical holder, but I can still do that. I can still snap out and hit with the end of the knife. Boom, boom, right? And that's what's gonna do major damage to this guy's arm. It's just fast snap, 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 snap. Okay? So he's coming at me with a knife. I'm staying away. I've got my footwork where I can go in and out. I can move to the side. This is my main defense. Don't get cut. And when his arm is in range, pow, and out again, right? Pow, and I'm out again. Pow, pow, pow. That's what you want to do to stay safe. I don't want to stand here and do all this kind of stuff, right? I want to make sniping cuts at that arm. The snap cut, in and out. Snap cut, snap, snap. Right? Snap cut. See if my little setup here, this represents his hand. One of the drills you want to work on, if I can get it to stay in place now, is being as far away as you can, right? And hit it, and back out again. Because that's what'll save your life. Cut that guy's hand, and get the hell out of there. That's, you know, he drops the knife, it's over, right? Another very simple approach is the figure 8. This, okay? So if you're not quite as fast and snappy, that doesn't feel comfortable to you, anybody can do this. Figure 8 slash. So now I'm here, and I'm just cutting anything in front of me, right? He's trying to get at me with that knife, and I'm just cutting. I'm cutting his arm. I'm cutting it here, 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 here. Cut, 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 cut. That's downward figure 8. You just get it going and just cut whatever's in front of you and stay as far away as you can so he can't reach you. So that's how it works at this long range. Medium range, I can reach him, he can reach me. Long range means I can reach his hand, right? Pop, pop. But he can't reach my body to do major damage. Right? So the guy that's sticking his arm out there is the one at the disadvantage because it becomes a target. And if he's trying to come at me, he's attacking me, and he's the one sticking his arm out there for me to snipe at. Okay? So that's where you have that advantage in this longer range. Snap, 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 snap. Or the figure 8. And then working your footwork, the in and out footwork. Getting out of the way, being evasive, being able to move in and move out. That's what you do for self-defense. Okay, now that snap cut, if I get this out of the way, that snap cut can go to the shoulder, can go to the face, right? Maybe he makes a big swing at me, I get out of the way, and I come out, snap cut. I cut the guy across the face, I hit him in the eye, hit him with the forehead so he's bleeding like stink, that fight's over, right? But I didn't thrust him, I didn't try to kill him, I didn't try to cut his carotid artery, I didn't stab him in the heart, right? Quick snap, cut across the face, that's it. Pop, 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 pop. That kind of thing. That's not a deadly strike. It may blind the guy, but if he's trying to kill you, that's justifiable. However, a court of law might not think it's justifiable if you step in and go, and cut his carotid artery, or stab him in the heart. Then it becomes, okay, was that justifiable or not? And from a moral standpoint, if I can disable this guy and stop him, I don't need to kill him to do that, right? So again, a self-defense mindset. Disable, stay away, get the guy off of you is enough. It's not a knife fight, okay? Realize that with a knife, all it takes is 3 inches of penetration to hit a vital organ from almost any target. So we're kind of staying away from a thrust. Otherwise, that snap cut could be a thrust easy enough. It works just as well, right? I could be sitting out here and doing a quick thrust. Pop, 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 pop. just as well as I could a snap cut. But the snap cut is not as lethal as that quick thrust. Okay, so again, think self-defense mindset. Don't think knife fighting, I'm gonna kill this guy kind of mindset. And you're far better off in a court of law where you can justifiably say to a court, I was just trying to stop him. I wasn't trying to kill him. Right? So, hopefully that helps. But the key here, work on footwork. Footwork, a fast snap cut, and a simple figure eight. Really, that'll serve you well in any kind of self-defense situation where you're not being grabbed. If he grabbed you and you're drawing the knife to cut his arm off of you, that's a totally different scenario, which would be a total different consideration. We're talking about, oh no, this guy's coming at me and I'm ready to go. Okay? In which case I should be running if I can, but that you can't always do that. So hopefully this helps.